Yusuf this time is going to talk about? Anybody remember? What is the title of the Sheikh Yusuf's topic?
Living with the Quran.
Living with the Quran, right? Living with the Quran. Very good, very good. Alhamdulillah. So that's why I choose the topic today, that something from the Quran, because it's like an introduction to the Quran, and I will show some examples from the Quran, how amazing is the Quran. I have done this series probably a year ago or something in this masjid after the Maghrib prayer, so some of you may remember that. So the main purpose of my talk is to understand and getting an introduction of the Quran. A lot of time, we as a Muslim, we think Quran is a holy book, which it is, and we just try to learn how to read it, and that's about it. And most of the majority of the Ummah, they just cover it up, put it in the shelf, and that's it. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that Quran is a miracle. Okay? If we talk about miracle, Allah has sent, and we know from a hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Prophet Muhammad said, every prophet and every messenger were sent with a miracle of their time. Okay? And I have been given the Quran as my miracle. The only difference with Quran and other miracles is that those miracles that came with the previous prophet, they are gone. We can't experience them, we can't realize them. Okay? But the Quran, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is for everlasting, till the last day. Till the last day, the miracle will present here. And every prophet has a miracle of their own time. Like for example, Prophet Saleh. Prophet Saleh, when he was there, and he was the prophet for the which tribe? Who can tell me? Which tribe Prophet Saleh was sent to? Anybody? Samud, yes. Samud, the group of Samud. And their pride, and they are proud actually, they were very proud because they used to live in a house made of stone. So they used to carve the mountain stone and they make their own home. And it was so secure, that was their pride. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them a miracle that He carved out a camel out of the stone. And that was the camel of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you all know the story, what happened with the camel. That some of the wretched people, they killed the camel, and the destruction come upon them. Same with Musa alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam at the time of Pharaoh, all the people, they were mastered in black magic. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives some of the miracle, and with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Musa alayhi salam can show them much bigger magics to them. Same with Isa alayhi salam. When Isa alayhi salam was sent to Bani Israel, the people of Bani Israel, they were in mastering in medicine and doctrine. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him such a miracle that he could raise the dead, he could make people live from the dead. And that's what he did. And he cured the leopard, he cured the blind person. So all this miracle was for that time. Then Prophet ﷺ came, and he was in a place in Arab. So if you look at the Arab, what do you call that, basically, the land of the Arab, and the language of them, the main thing about that, the Arab land, it was surrounded by all the two supreme power of that time. One side they were Roman, and one side they were Persian. But they never tried to conquer Arab. Why? Because there's nothing in the Arab. Nowadays everybody is going after the Middle East because they have oil now. But that time there's no oil. So people don't want to send their soldiers to this desert land and conquer this place. So they leave them alone. So the Arab was left alone kind of. And that's why their language is got so purified. What happened in a land like this, like in Australia, Canada, where a lot of immigrant people are coming here, so the language has an effect. Even in our own mother tongue, like if you're speaking in Bangla and Urdu, we have so many words from different cultures, so many words from English, so many words from the Urdu, so many words from Bangla, so many words from Arabic. It's all mixed up. But at that time, the Arab was like it's a secure place. So that's why their language never get distorted. It's got purified. One thing also you should know about the language. There are three kinds of Arabic. At present, the linguistics, there are three kinds of Arabic. The number one is the native dialect, or you can say that just a normal dialect of different areas of people. Like a spoken Arabic, that's a good English to say, spoken Arabic. And spoken Arabic has different dialects, okay? So people of Palestine talks in a different way, people of Egypt talk in a different way, people of Algeria, they talk in a different way, they have the influence of French, and there are a lot of other words and a lot of mixing up, okay? The next level up of the language is called the language formal Arabic, or in another Arabic term it's called Fusha Arabic. And that is the language of newspaper, So if you're traveling in a Saudi Airlines or Gulf Airlines or Emirates, if you read a newspaper there, that will be in proper formal Arabic. If you turn on the TV, if you see Arabic channel like Al Jazeera or something like this, that is formal Arabic. But the Quranic Arabic is completely different. It is called the old or ancient Arabic. It has no, some of the people say no, formal Arabic is very similar to the Quranic Arabic. No, that's wrong, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He uses the language in such a way that these terms and these idioms, these verbs can only be found in the rural part of the Arabs. And that is the reason, like people like Imam Shafi, that other scholar, they used to live their city life, like Makkah or Medina or Kufa, and they used to live for years after year in a rural village to strengthen their language, because they know that is the pure language, that is the source of the pure language. And this is the reason the Quranic Arabic is completely separate. And that's why my personal is, when I went to Hajj, I had a room share with some Arab brothers, and I was talking to them and I said, no, you guys are so lucky, you understand everything in Arabic, we have so much hard time to learn. And that guy said, no brother, honestly, we also don't understand. We understand some of the words, because the Quranic language is such a rhythmic way, such a different grammatical thing, it is very difficult for us to understand. So it is the same thing that, because it is the old and ancient Arabic. So now, we had a little bit of introduction of language. Now let's talk about the Quran itself. So we know that Quran has, how many surahs we have in the Quran? 114 surahs. What do you call surahs in English? Chapter. But actually, as a Muslim, we should never call a chapter, because a chapter has nothing compared to surah. We should always, because surah, the term surah is a unique term. If you look at a book in a chapter, a book that has chapters, so you have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, things that you have in chapter 1, you'll never find in chapter 2. Even if you find, it will be summarized, okay, this thing has been described in chapter 1, so go back to chapter 1. And there is a chronological order. Any book you open, doesn't matter it's a science book, it's a novel or something, every book has a chapter as a chronological order. Quran is not like this. Quran starts with Fatiha, then we have Baqarah. If someone asks what is the subject matter of Baqarah, it's very difficult to say, because everything is in Baqarah. In Baqarah, you have, the stories of Bani Israel, you have the characteristics of Munafiqun, you have the Talaq, you have divorce, you have the marriages, you have Ramadan, everything in Surah Baqarah. You have Sadaqah, you have Riba, everything in Baqarah. And then after Baqarah, we have again gone to Surah Al-Imran, that has the talk about Isa and Maryam and everything. So Quran is not like chapters. And you all know that in the Quran came, the first surah came with Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Where do you find this one? You find this surah toward the end of the Quran. It's a 96th surah of the Quran. So Allah didn't put it in that way. But there are two opinions about the scholars. Who organized this surah? Who said that Fatiha should be first, then Baqarah, then Ali Imran? Who decided that? Is it Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or is it the Sahaba? So there is a group of Sahaba, a group of scholars. They say it is the Sahaba who decided that the surah should be like this. But that is a minority of the opinion. And there are scholars who work their life to find out and to prove that this Quran, the organization of the Quran, of the surahs, are also by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why it is so? Because every surah, when it ends, there is a link with the next surah. And we find it in different ways. For a small, short example, if you talk about Falak and Nas, so how many similarity you can see in Falak and Nas? Allah put a Falak here and Nas there? No. He put it together. So there are surahs come together in the Quran. And that is the organization by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the word surah, what does surah means actually? The word surah actually comes from Arabic word saura. Saura means to have a sharp view. Sharp view means, suppose you are in a mountain. Suppose you went to see Blue Mountain. In the Blue Mountain you have a viewing point very high. So from the top high you can see the mountains and the trees and everything. And so all this kind of thing. So that is what Sawara means. That you are looking something from the top and you can see the whole view. Another meaning of surah, it comes from the word sur. And sur means a high wall. So if you climb up to a high wall, and behind the wall there is a city, because that's how was the city before. People used to build the city, they have a big wall around the city for their protection. So if you climb up the wall of the sur, you can see the city, you can see different things in the city. But although they are different, you can see some mountains, some people walking in a thing, different things you can see from the top of the wall. But all these things come together and make one city. Just like that, in surah, when you go into a surah, there are different things of the surah. But if you look and if you read the subject material, somehow, if you research through it, it will come to one conclusion. So that is called the surah. Next thing I want to talk about today, the ayah. Sometimes we say ayah, as the English is a verse. Ayah is a verse. And that is also not correct. As the surah is a unique word itself. There is no English for surah. Surah is surah. It is not chapter. Just like that, ayah, when you call verse, the word verse usually used for two places. In English context, like European context, or in British English or American English, you can use the word verse in two places. Either the verses of the songs or poem, or verses of the Bible. When the Bible got populated, Bible became popular, in 500, 600 years ago, it get more different versions of Bible and everything. So they call verse of the Bible. But ayah is not like a verse. What is ayah means? So I'll just talk a little bit about ayah so you should understand. The ayah, root word of ayah in Arabic, comes from three letters. Hamza, ya, and ya. That's the three letters ayah. And it has so many meanings. I'm just going to tell a few of the meanings because if I want to talk about all of the meaning and explain, it will take a long time. One of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about the ayah, what did he call ayah? He said in the Quran, he said, Balhum ayatun bayyinat, meaning the units of the Quran is ayah. He said one. Another time he said, Isa is ayah. He also said mountain is an ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said tree is an ayah. Sky is an ayah. The love between husband and wife is an ayah. You waking up from the sleep is an ayah. You going to sleep is an ayah. Death is an ayah. Future is an ayah. History is an ayah. Everything, if you look properly and if you read properly the Quran, if you just find the ayah, word ayah, where ayah is used, you will find the all human reality, all experience has been called by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ayah. And as you all know, the another meaning of ayah is sign. There are different linguistic meaning of ayah also. One of the meaning of ayah is that in Arab used to say that when the Bedouin people they do a camping, okay, and after the camp they spend the night there, and the morning they left the rubbish and then they went away. So this thing is called that they left everything and took the ayah with them, meaning they took the valuable things with them. So one of the meaning of ayah is valuable. Another meaning of ayah is something that will create curiosity in your mind. So something that will make you ask questions. Okay, that is also ayah. Also the ayah means that that something will give you some direction. Something that will give you some direction. So ayah is valuable, something that will make you curious, something that will give you direction. And also ayah, as you all know, the ya ayyuhallazina amanu, the ayah of the ayyuhallazina amanu means it is calling someone, meaning every ayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling to you, meaning they are trying to say something to you. So you as a Muslim, you should ponder about every sign of thing. And it doesn't have to be the nature. Even your own experience of life, your taste, your happiness, your sadness, everything is called by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is an ayah. And that's why you ponder and you experience those things and map with the Quranic ayah. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran calls ayah in different way. So this is a short introduction of the Quran. What is its language? What is the surah and what is the ayah? Now I'm going to show you some of the ayahs of the Quran, where you will see how precise is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning there are ayahs in the Quran, because the problem with people like us, like the Muslim like us, where we don't travel through the journey of the knowledge, So we just have our 5 times Salah, Ramadan, Hajj, Umrah, that's it. If you ponder upon the Quran, you will see a lot of ayahs are very similar, but still there is a little bit of difference among them. And why are this difference? It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't put a single harakah in the Quran without any purpose. There must be some reason. It's not like a person is writing a book and he says, okay, I'm going there, and just put a full stop there, and the next time he puts something else. No, it's not like that. Everything in the Quran has its thing. And if you ask any Muslim, the Quran is a miracle, how are you going to prove it to me? So they will bring up, most of the people of our times will bring up some scientific proofs, like Quran talks about the alaq, meaning the embryo. Quran talks about Maraj al-Bahraini, the two sea meeting each other. Quran talks about the sun and the moon revolving. All these scientific things. Yeah, those are true and those are fine. But they are a linguistic miracle of the Quran itself. And that's why a lot of people, a lot of non-Muslims who went to read Quran and they tried to learn Arabic and read Quran, they were amazed by the Quran and they accepted Islam. One of the person was like this, his name was Maurice Bukhari. And he probably, some of you will know the name Maurice Bukhari. He was a doctor in France. And when the archaeologist people, they found the body of a pharaoh in the Dead Sea area, and they took it to the museum. So they appointed a group of doctors and other scientists to research that thing. So he was the head of this one. So he was researching this history of this pharaoh story. And somehow he found out, he met a Muslim and he found out that this story also in Quran. The story also is in Bible. But the Quran has some extra thing in there. Quran said he was dead by drowning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala drowned the pharaoh. And when he examined the body and everything, he found out he learned Arabic for 2 years just to find this one, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. And when he found the truth, he said, this cannot be from human, it is from the God himself. So he accepted Islam and he wrote a book actually, the Quran and Modern Science. You can find it in the Google if you want to. So, because our time is too short, I'm going to very quickly show you some of the examples of the Quran. So please pay attention. Inshallah ta'ala, we will inshallah enjoy this and appreciate this one. The first thing, this is the ayah of Surah Al-Imran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna masala Isa indallahi ka masali Adama khalaqahu min at-turaba thumma qala lahu kun fayakun. So Allah is saying in Surah Al-Imran, verily the likeness of Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the likeness of Adam. So Allah is saying, for me, Adam and Isa is the same. Because I created Adam from the dust and I created Isa from the same. So Allah is saying that Adam and Isa is same. And literally in the Quran, the word Adam is mentioned 25 times and word Jesus, Isa is also mentioned 25 times. So it's not only that Allah said that, it's just a thing that I made him to the Torah and I made Isa also, so both of them said no. Even in literal sense, they are all similar. The word Adam and the word Isa came at the same number of times. No human can be possibly made. Not only that, the word, the ayah where it says there, this ayah, up to this ayah, there are 7 times has been mentioned Adam and 7 times mentioned Isa, and after this surah there is another 18 times of Adam and 18 times of Isa. So that's one of the examples how precise the Quran is. Another very similar thing, there are a lot of examples like this. I'm just going to mention a few of them. Another similar things Allah said that His similitude, meaning it's the people who are kafirun, you can say, or who deny the religion. So Allah saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's like a dog. What kind of dog? If you chase him, he lolls out his tongue, and if you leave him alone, he still lolls out his tongue. So if you chase him and if you leave him, it's the same. So basically, the people who deny the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah compared him with a dog. And that is the reason the dog was mentioned in the Quran 5 times, and people who deny our revelation, especially the kazzabu bi ayatina, people who deny our revelation, deny our sign, is also mentioned 5 times, exactly 5 times. Another example. In Surah Al-Hajj and in Surah Al-Mu'minun, Allah says, I created man from some of the components, okay? So that Allah gives the step-by-step things, how Allah created human being. So He said that I created man from turab, dust, and after that I made them from nutfa, then I made into a blood clot, a alaq, then I made him a lump, which is mogodaga, like a meat around the alaq, then I give them bone, idaman, okay, and then I give them flesh and meat, so the last final death. So these are the components to make a human being by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And look at the times, Allah used turab 17 times, nutfa 12 times, blood count 6 times, 3 times, 15 times. So altogether is 65 times. And this 65 times, this component was used to create what? Create insan, human. And Allah used the word insan also exactly 65 times in the Quran. So how amazing is that? The next one, which is also a kind of word count, Allah said the word dunya. We all know this word dunya 115 times. The opposite of dunya is akhirah. Exactly same 115 times. Allah said angels, malaika 88 times, and shayateen is 88 times also. Allah said hayat, meaning the life, 114 times, and also the death 145 times, same thing. Allah talked about Iblis. The word Iblis came into the Quran 11 times. And Allah used the word A'udhu Billah Minash Shaitanir Rajim 11 times. Allah said the word Qala, they said. And then Allah said, say, Qul, same time. So Allah saying to Prophet Muhammad, Qul, tell them. And Allah also said, they say, exactly 332 times. Not only that, the word month, Shaharun, we say Shaharu Ramadan. Okay, we say that, right? We know the word Shaharun. Allah mentioned Shaharun 12 times. Because Allah said in the Quran, Allah has created 12 months. So the word also used exactly in 12 times. The days, guess how many times days will be there? 365 times exactly. Now this counting thing, would Sahaba do that? No, they didn't have computer or nothing. They never used to sit down and count these words. But nowadays, because we have the technology and people are doing researches, so now we are finding this computer. This is not the only reason that Quran is amazing. Quran was amazing to the Sahaba also, although they didn't know about these things. They just read the Quran, they understand the Quran, they implement the Quran. And we never know, in future something else will come. So that's why Quran is a miracle, so it said that you'll never stop. For every generation, for every people, and that's why sometimes we see Facebook, in newspaper, something else came up, the Quran says this one, and we can find the miracle of, the Quran and also the prophecy of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The next example is a very simple one. In Surah Al-Baqarah, as you all know, Surah Al-Baqarah has 286 ayahs. Okay? But you have to remember one thing. The Surah Baqarah didn't came in one day. So some 3 ayahs came one day, maybe 10 ayahs came in another day, and Jibril came and told Prophet Muhammad to put this ayah before, then this ayah before. It took almost 8 to 10 years to came down the surah, whole Surah Baqarah. Now after the compilation, we have the Surah Baqarah in one set. And we know what is ayah number 1, Alif Lam Mim, number 2, Zalikal Kitabu La Raiba Fi. We know this way. But Prophet he never had marked them. He know Alif Lam Mim, Zalikal Kitabu La Raiba Fi. He put it like this, but he never counted the ayah. He never counted. He didn't have numbering of the ayah like we have in our app or in your book. Okay? So somewhere in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah says one ayah, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا, that I have made you a middle nation. Wasat means middle. It could also mean the top. Like that's why I put the picture. See, that's a picture of a mountain. If you see, so the top part is also the middle part and also the top part. And guess what? This ayah, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا, comes at the ayah number 143, exactly middle of Surah Al-Baqarah. As if Allah is saying into the Surah Al-Baqarah that I put you in the middle, and in the middle of Surah Al-Baqarah Allah says I have made you a middle nation. Subhanallah. This is another example. And look at these 2 ayah in 2 different surah, completely 2 different, and it looks like exactly same. Just read the English if you're struggling with the Arabic. Allah saying, don't kill your children, so kill not your children because of poverty. Because of poverty, meaning because if you're poor, we provide substance for you and for them. Okay? So nahnu narzuqukum wa iyyahum. Okay? In the next one, Surah Al-Isra, different ayah, different surah, Allah said, kill not your children because of fear of poverty. Okay? We provide substance for them and for you. So what is the difference between 2 ayah? 2 things. Over there is no word called fear. The word fear is not there. Okay? That's one difference. Second difference, second line Allah said, we provide sustenance, we provide risk for you and for them. In the second one, it says we provide substance, the rizq for them and for you. So Allah flipped the order. First Allah said you and them, then Allah said them and you. Why? In English it means the same. If I say I give you and I give to Abdullah, or if I say I give to Abdullah, I give to you, it's the same meaning. What's the difference? There is a difference. The difference is when in the first one Allah is saying because of your poverty, meaning you're already poor. So Allah is talking to imagine Allah is talking to a couple, a husband and wife who is already poor. Now they want to have a baby. They say, okay, we cannot have this baby, we have to kill it. Because we are already poor, and if we have them, then we'll have more problem. So Allah is saying, no, you're poor, I know, but I provide for you and I will provide for them. In the next one, imagine that couple, they're not poor yet, but they have the fear of poverty. They're saying that if we have the baby, so we are not poor now, but then we'll have problem. So they're assuming that they will have problem. The first one, they were already poor. But the next one, they're not poor yet. But they're thinking, if I have one more baby, or if I have more children, we'll be in trouble. So Allah says, don't worry. When they come, I will provide for them, and I will provide for you also. So that's why Allah twists the thing. So these are the small things, but if you ponder on this, you will be amazed by the Quran. So you'll have more love for the Quran, inshallah. I'll show you one more, inshallah. This one is another simple one. It's the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So Ibrahim alayhi salam is saying, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّ جَعَلْ هَذَا بَلَدًا آمِنًا. So when Ibrahim said, my Lord, make this a peaceful city. Okay? And in the second one in Surah Al-Ibrahim, Allah said, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّ جَعَلْ هَذَا بَلَدًا آمِنًا. You know what is the difference? Can you see the difference in Arabic? Anybody? Can you tell me what is the difference in these two ayah in Arabic? I'll show you here. Yes, the Balad al-Amina, see this one here has a tanween, and this one doesn't have a tanween, this has al. So one has da and one has da. So the thing is that in the first one, it's in Surah Baqarah. That time, that situation, Ibrahim alayhi salam went to the Makkah for the first time. There's nothing there. It's a barren land. Okay, no Kaaba, nothing. This is the first time he's leaving his wife and his child, Ismail there. So he's saying, make this a peaceful city. So the city is still not built. So Allah is saying, Ibrahim is saying to Allah, make this a peaceful city. The next one, he came back years after. At that time, Ismail is already grown up. Okay, so he coming back from Iraq to visit the Makkah again. And then he's saying, Allah, make this city, so the city is already established now. The city is already established. So Allah said, make this city peaceful. So first one, the city was not done yet. It's a barren land. So he said, Allah, make a peaceful city. And the second one, he said, make this a peaceful city. And there's a very little difference. And by this difference, you know which one occurred first, basically. Give me 1 second. Okay, this is another one. Here, we are saying we're taking an ayah from same surah, where Musa is saying, وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ. Okay, Musa is calling his people, and on the other side, Isa also calling his people. Now both Isa and Musa, as you all know, they were sent to Bani Israel. Both of them were sent to Bani Israel. But both of them are calling their tribe in a different way. In the Quran, if you read the stories of the Prophet, like for Nuh alayhi salam also, when he's calling his people, he said, Ya Qaumi, meaning, O my nation. When the Saleh calling the people of Samud, they go, O my nation. Most of the Prophet, Saleh, Hud, Shu'aib, all these prophets, when they're talking to their own generation, you will find this similar kind of ayah in Surah Al-Shu'ara, that every prophet is talking to their nation, and they're calling them Ya Qaumi, my nation. Why they call them my nation? Because if you are from that nation, if your father is from that nation, so you are also from that nation. So if someone call me Bangladeshi, because I am from Bangladesh, my parents are from Bangladesh, okay? So that's why people go, okay, he's from Bangladesh, he's Bangladeshi, right? So just like that, their parents, his father is from the nation, and he's grown up in that nation, so he's calling Ya Qaumi. Now Isa salam is the same, he's sent to Bani Israel. But you will never find Isa is calling his nation Ya Qaumi. You will never find, you will always see Isa will call his nation with the full name, Ya Bani Israel, Ya Bani Israel. Why is that? Because what? Tell me why. Any guess? Because Isa didn't have a father from Bani Israel. He is a miracle child of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So anytime in the Quran, you will never find that Isa is talking to his nation with Ya Qaumi. It's an exceptional thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. And I think that's the last one I have for today. Yes, that's the last one. So I will finish my talk here. So I'll give the opportunity to our young generation. They will have their Quran recitation. And some of the two other youngsters will present one hadith and on the Quran. So inshallah we'll start with our recitation with Ryan Hawk. So Ryan, can you come and please do this? Can you please do the microphone?